The world view about the tribals means an ethnic group who are geographically isolated or semi-isolated, having distinct socio, economic, cultural traditions and practices. India has the largest concentration of tribal population. They're supposed to be the earliest settlers in Indian peninsula. It is also believed that prior to the introduction of Brahminical order, people were divided into various tribes. A tribe, then, was a homogeneous unit, self-contained and without any hierarchical discrimination. With changing times, the concept of tribe too has undergone a change. Yet, they are very much an integral part of the so-called mainstream civilization. One such tribe living in continuum with the mainstream civilization is the Koyas, one of the 33 tribes living in the South Indian state of Andhra Pradesh. As per the 1991 census, Andhra Pradesh has a total tribal population of around 42 lakhs. Of this, Koyas, with a population of 4.5 lakhs, constitute around 11% of Andhra's total tribal population. However, the presence of Koyas is not restricted to Andhra only. Their sporadic distributions are also found in Madhya Pradesh and Orissa. Mythological folklore of the Koyas ascribes the genesis of the universe, gods, and the origin of their tribe to an egg which was accidentally broken. The upper part became the sky and the lower the earth. Three gods also came out of this egg. The earth was full of water and one big bottle gourd was floating on the water, which had a woman in it. One of the three gods entered into the bottle gourd and married the woman. Gradually the water receded and the divine couple was blessed with 101 children, and one among them, called Peramboya Raju, also known as Koya in the Lakko, was ruling the world. In Andhra Pradesh, Koyas inhabit the riverian areas of East and West Godavari, Khammam and Warangal districts, and are also sparsely found in Adilabad and Karimnagar districts. This is Godavari, lifeline of the Koyas. The areas west and east of Godavari and the Sabri River provide sanctuary to this tribal populace, playing the all-important role in sustaining Koya economy and shaping their culture. And it has been doing so since ages. Godavari Basin provides the most prized location for a Koya village, for they prefer to settle near dependable water sources. And that is why all larger Koya villages are situated near Godavari and Sabri rivers, while only smaller ones are found in the hills and jungles. And this is a major paradigm shift in Koya tradition. In the past, they were hill dwellers, as implied by their name. Gone are the days when Koya tribesmen lived a nomadic life, primary means of sustenance being hunting and gathering forest produces. Gradually, the fertile land of Godavari Basin invited them to a settled life instead of a nomadic one. Now the majority of Koyas are farmers, settled at one place and cultivating permanent agricultural plots. And in most of the cases, they are the proud owners of the land. And for years, this is what their primary occupation has been: farming, producing jowar, ragi, bajra and other millets. In the hilly region occupied by Koyas, there are no permanent farms. They still practice jhum or terrace farming, favorite producers being rice and tobacco. But the production of these cash crops ensures a regular interaction with the buyers, and the buyers are invariably people from the plains. The dynamics of this trading can be seen at the local hut, where they sell their produce or barter it with other items. But not every Koya that moves to the plains manages to get hold of his own cultivable land. Many of them have to work as agricultural laborers to start with. Besides farming, almost every Koya indulges in some other occupation to supplement his income. Some weave bamboo baskets. Others continue with habits of hunting and gathering forest produces. These forest produces supplement the vegetables in their home garden. Pastoral activities are still very common, and cattle are the symbols of wealth. They are kept for their dairy products, meat, fertilizers, trade, and also for religious sacrifices. However, these are merely individual choices and do not reflect the occupational preferences of Koyas as a society or ethnic group. At the macro level, Koya society comprises three occupational groups: blacksmiths, funeral drummers and singers, and bards, who sing during religious sacrifices. The mode of economy determines the lifestyle and culture of a community, and Koyas are no exception. Farming necessitates permanent habitations, and Koyas have learned to live in permanent settlements. Here they cohabit not only with other tribes, but non-tribals as well, something that they were never comfortable with initially. And their reluctance was quite understandable. They must not have experimented with or experienced such a social combination in their formative years. A typical Koya house is one built of wood, thatch and mud, usually having 2 rooms and a porch outside. Surprisingly, none of their rooms have windows for reasons unknown to the outside world. Like most of India's rural families, Koyas too prefer to live in a joint family. All brothers and their families living under one roof and a combined hearth. Oldest male member of the family, the patriarch, enjoys all the authority. After the patriarch, the authority gets transferred to the eldest male member of the family. Descent is reckoned through male line only, and property is also divided among sons only. Koya women are hardworking. She not only undertakes domestic chores, but also takes part in all kinds of agricultural operations except plowing. Though she has equal status as men, she is not entitled to inheriting ancestral property.
ఇప్పుడు ఇంటికాడ పని అంటే ఆడది ఉందంటే మగోడు, ఆడది ఉందంటే మగోడిది ఒక్క పని అయితే ఆడదాంది 4 పనులు ఉంటాయి ఇంట్లో. అది మగోడితో సమానం పోయి వ్యవసాయం పనులు చేసుకోవాలా, ఇంటికి రావాలా, దంచుకోవాలా, నీళ్ళు తెచ్చుకోవాలా, ఊక్కోవాలా, వండుకోవాలా, మళ్ళీ పిల్లలకి పెట్టాలా, పిల్లగాళ్ళని బడికి పంపించాలా, వాళ్ళకి బట్టలు తానాలు చేపించుకొని వాళ్ళని బడికి పంపించాలా, అన్ని బాధ్యతలు ఆడదాని మీదే ఉన్నాయి.
The Koyas ascribe great importance to the pregnancy of a woman, believing it to be a gift of God. Usually, the first delivery takes place in the parents' house only. On the 11th day, the mother and the child are cleansed, and a ceremonial feast is held, wherein sweets, mutton and liquor are served. Death rites have become more flexible. They now either bury or cremate their dead. Usually in the case of children or the pregnant, the corpse is buried. In others, it is cremated and the ashes are collected. Only clan members can touch and carry the corpse to the burial ground. After the death of a family head, the eldest son of the family inherits property and authority. Thus, Koyas can be safely categorized as patrilineal and patriarchal society. Koyas prefer to communicate in their own dialect, but with years of cohabitation and consequent cultural exchange, Koyas have acquired the finer nuances of Gondi and Telugu languages as well. This local dialect is named after the tribe and is called Koya. Koyas living in Adilabad, Karimnagar, Warangal and some parts of the eastern Godavari have adopted Telugu as their mother tongue. But still, Koya is the natural choice and a means to retain their own culture and identity. They are not even aware of the fact that the language they are so possessive about is on the verge of decline. It lacks a written script and thus needs to be preserved and transmitted orally. Wherever they live or whatever they do, Koyas consider themselves as lords. Dorala Sattam, that is, lords group, and Puttadora, that is, original lords, is what they call themselves. This self-acquired high social status also regulates the dynamics of a Koya society. To retain their purity and superiority, Koyas practice endogamy at the societal level. The entire tribe is divided into several endogamous groups. The Racha Koyas are generally found in the plains, while the Kutta Koyas live on the hill areas, and the Gomu Koyas live on the riverbanks. The Racha Koyas claim superiority over all the other groups, but in recent times, these distinctions have been disappearing, as the groups are not following their traditional occupations. These groups are further divided into various exogamous subgroups and clans. As far as marriages are concerned, Koyas are monogamous, though some rich and influential Koyas do acquire more than one wife. Most of the marriages are arranged and involve proper negotiations between the two families. Marriage by capture or forcibly marrying a girl is a dying tradition now. Like any other tribal society, Koyas have their own preferences. Cross-cousin marriage, that is marrying own father's sister's daughter, is the most preferred form of marriage among Koyas. One can also marry his brother's widow. Quite obviously, widow remarriage is allowed in the Koya society.
अब एक 10-15 साल एक 20 साल पहले एक ऐसी चीज़ था, एक अगर कोई बच्ची मुझे पसंद है, अगर मैं उसको हाथ पकड़ लिया तो अब हमारा नाम भी हो जाना, वो ऐसे कानून था जब, बस वो दूसरों को शादी नहीं कर सकते। अब वो अपने बड़ों के चारों बिठा कर वो पंचायत करके जो है उसके हवाला कर देते, उसके साथ शादी हो जाए। उसके बाद दूसरी चीज़ है, तो अगर मुझे पसंद है किसी लड़की को तो मैं जो है कि 10-15 आदमी को मैं ले लेना और बच्ची को जबरन उठा के ला लेना, ला के जो है शादी कर लेता था। वैसे भी एक शादी होती है, यानी किसी बच्ची पसंद, वो रूल है ये, तो उसको गलत नहीं मानते थे। यानी वो बच्ची को जो पकड़ के ला लेना, घर में रखना, सब लोग जो है शराब वगैरह पीना, नाचना, ये करना, हंगामा कर शादी कर लेते थे। उसको कोई इनकार नहीं करना, वो उनका रूल था, उसको गलत नहीं मानते। अभी जो है अभी तीसरी सिस्टम जो आ गई है शादी, दोनों पसंद जाना देखना, जो आमतौर पर जो मंगनी का जो सिस्टम है, वो जो है किसी बच्चे मुझे पसंद है तो मैं अपने बाप को, बड़े लोगों का और दूसरों के लिए उसको पहले रई का डालना बोलते हैं, इनको मंगनी, उसके नाम से एक ब्लाउज होते हैं, ब्लाउज उसको ले जाके सब लोग, बड़े लोग जाके ब्लाउज डालना, उसको डाल के इसके नाम में कर लेना।
Like all other primitive societies, Koyas too have their own redressal and judicial system. Panchayats, they call it Kula Panchayat. This panchayat consists of a poi, the headman, Pinapetta, a man who assists the headman in conducting inquiries, and Vyapa, the messenger. It has around 10 to 15 villages under its jurisdiction. Divorce, intercaste marriages, property disputes. Panchayat can and does interfere in every sphere of Koya life. Not only that, it also takes active part in marriage ceremonies and conducting fairs and festivals. Men and women in colored headgear, dancing in rhythm with drums, flutes and fiery vocals. This is the bison horn dance of the Koyas. This dance is one of the oldest dance traditions of Koya, and its performance is a regular feature in any of their fairs and festivals. Traditional musical instruments, interesting vocals, complex patterns and rhythmical phrases. All these elements come together to express Koya sentiments of joy and happiness. Same energy and enthusiasm is reflected in Koya dance as well. It is a summer dance where the youth offer prayers to their mountain goddess. They pray for rains and redemption from the scorching summer heat. The very fact that mountain is considered to be a goddess hints at the animistic faith of Koyas. In animism, the believer assigns life or spirit to even lifeless objects and starts worshipping them. And this animistic faith explains the rationale behind some of their main festivals. Vijjipandam is a seed-charming festival, and in Kondala Kolupu, they dance and pray to appease the hill deities. Another important festival of the Koya tribe is Samakka festival. Celebrated every 2 years at Medaram in Warangal district. This festival is held in the memory of the Koya queen Samakka. Samakka died fighting the Kakatiya rulers of Warangal. The local tribals of different villages celebrate this festival with grand fervor. The Koya priest brings vermilion pot and piece of bamboo from the nearby hillock, symbolizing the arrival of goddess Samakka. The Koya priest, as well as a number of devotees, are generally believed to be possessed by the spirit of the goddess, and these people, in a state of trance, forecast the future of their kith and kin and natural calamities. In order to appease these spirits, sacrifices are made, and coconut and jaggery is offered to the devotees. This festival relives an important chapter of Koya history. The impact of this increased interaction is evident on Koya religion and value system. Their ethnic religion now incorporates many of the Hindu gods and goddesses. Lord Bhim now stands at par with important Koya deities like Korra Rajulu, Mamili, and Pottu Raju and Badramma. Today, Koyas have become a part of the larger society. They have been participating in different walks of life, including sports. Prasad and Anni Durga from the Koya tribe have been participating in archery at the national level. Today, the younger ones are taking tips from Durga with the hope of becoming national champions someday. The government, through its various plans and policies, has been targeting at the socio-economic and cultural development of the tribe. The ITDA and NGOs like Outreach and LITS have been active in the betterment of the Koya society. Education and health have been accorded a high priority in the welfare process, and schools like this have been opened for the Koya children for their bright future.
The tribals do have a very rich culture knowledge in terms of the skills, the hunting, the knowledge of herbals and other local food, forest varieties. All these knowledge there is a need to preserve, because once the people change, they tend to forget. Since this would mean that losing very precious knowledge, and tomorrow if something is required in those terms, it will be rediscovering the wheel. Efforts are being made from our side, and many leading NGOs have come. There are groups, researchers who have come in these places. From ITD side, we have also provided assistance. We are trying to build up the local the folklore, the local beliefs and practices are all being documented, so that they become a part of the permanent human knowledge. All that we are trying to do is to systematize it in the sense that it does not have a very deep or very negative impact on the tribals or people who are undergoing change. Even if we leave the societies, if no development or no supporting mechanism is evolved, even then people are bound to change. With changing world scenario, globalization of the entire context, now these tribes or these fringes which have been hitherto living in isolation will have to become the part of the larger network. So all that we are trying to do in this whole process is trying to absorb that impact and maybe minimize the negative impact of the whole thing and make it more positive for these people.
And most important of all, this has happened without destroying their identity, their unique social fabric. And this became possible because neither the government nor the people forced them to assimilate into the mainstream. And for Koyas, it's the dawn of a new era, an era linked with the common thread of culture and tradition, as well as the path to progress.